Hello, this is Dr. Doje Suave. I figured this evening I'd make a quick video on how to make free battle mats for use in Roll20 for any tabletop role-playing games that might require a grid. All links in this video will be in the description below. So the first thing you want to do, head over to mapeditor.org and download Tiled. It is a free download. I personally have been supporting the Patreon for some time because it's a program I've used for years in order to make my battle mats in Roll20. And it's constantly updated. It's a great little program. So once you have that installed, you're going to want to find a tile set. In the link below, I point you to opengamemart.org, which has a beautiful dungeon crawl stone soup tile set. It has a great range of tiles for its walls and floors, and the tile set itself is one image with a very clear to select transparency background. That is very important. I usually use the link down here below, the Project Utimo full. And once you have that downloaded, you need to load that image in Photoshop or Paint 3D and double the image's overall size. This is a 32 by 32 tile set. We want at least 64 by 64, as Roll20 can sometimes have display issues with tokens that are shrunk down that small. Sometimes on some machines or browsers, they can show up kind of garbled and it doesn't look very nice. So 64 by 64 is a good halfway point, and the tiles don't lose any quality when you double the image. Once you have that done, remember where you saved that file and load Tiled up. And from here, we're going to want to make a new tile set. So we're going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it D&D Tile. And we want to make sure based on tile set image is selected. And then we want to point it to the file. And from there, we're going to want to select the transparency color. The upper left-hand corner of this tile set is just a transparent tile, so that makes that easy. And we want to make sure our tile width and height is set to 64 by 64. No margin and no spacing. We're going to save that. I'm just going to overwrite D&D Tile. And there we go. We have our base tile set that you can use for any maps here on out. So since we already have the tile set loaded up here in memory, we can just go File, New Map. Make sure the tile size is set to 64 by 64. And the map size can be, increased or decreased once the map is loaded. But for this, we're just going to use 10 by 10. Place to save that you will remember. And there we go. Now you don't see your tile set just yet. What you're going to want to do, since it is already loaded up, you're going to want to go to View, Tile Sets. And this will pop up. This can either be snapped to the window itself or put in its own monitor, which is what I usually do. But for sake of demonstration, I'll just keep it here on my screen. So when I had mentioned that the tile set that we're using today has a nice range of tiles, what I mean is this. Let's say I wanted to make a beautiful floor. Some tile sets, you would just click this and look, it looks all the same. That's ugly. No one wants that. So what you do, select a range. You can either drag or hold Control and click on the individual tiles like this. But you select whatever you need to select and make sure that the dice are selected. This is random mode. What this does is it chooses a random tile from your selection to place. This works for both fill and stamp tool. So let's just place this nice floor that has a lot of variety. And let's say I want to place some walls now that I've done that. So I can do the same thing, select a variety here and just drop my outline. Oops, I still have the fill tool selected. And that will choose a different tile every time. We're going to leave some room for doors here. And a nice, double door kind of there to get us out of the room. So this tile set does have items that use transparency. Personally, I use this program just to do the walls, the floors, and the doors. Everything else is done through the Roll20 Marketplace's items that you can buy. I have many of the Marketplace packages that allow you to have chests and tables. I just use this program for the base dungeon, but if you wish to use them, you're going to want to create a new tile layer and make sure it's above your floors and walls tile set. That way you can actually take advantage of the transparency, because if you don't, well, you end up with this gray bar behind it and it looks like crap because there's nothing behind it to transparent to. There we go. And I want to put some doors in, so I'm just going to scroll over to here. And to rotate any tiles, you hit Z, and that will allow you to rotate them freely. Just going to place some fairly basic doors in this beautiful double door here. And there you go. Whenever you're ready, you can just go to File. You want to save first, and then Export as Image. Choose where it's going to go. Make sure only included visible layers is selected, and the other 3 do not need to be selected. If you want to draw the tile grid, you can. The Roll20 grid will overlay over it perfectly once you set it to 64 for your tile size, and then you just do export, wait till it's done, and then upload to Roll20 and enjoy. That's it. That's the basics of Tiled and how to create a nice tile set. And I've been using it for years. Like here's one from my more recent game. As I said, most of my dungeon population is done through actual assets within the Roll20 engine. So this is just the floors and doors. And, you know, it looks great. You know, it scales well. Players enjoy it. And it lets me hammer these maps out super fast. So I hope this video has been very informative to those out there. And I hope you all have a great day.